Hey guys, it's G-Man. Usually I use these videos to comment on some gameplay of whatever mech I'm reviewing, and talk about what I think of it, what I'm doing with it, etc, etc. But I wanted to do something else this time. I wanted to talk about the patch that we recently had. Just in general, go over each piece of it and talk about a couple things that I like, a couple things that maybe I don't like so much. First off, I want to talk about, well, the best thing, the biggest thing, the quirk changes. The big three things that I've seen is the durability for IS, the nerfing of the super gimmick quirks besides the locust, so like your Hunchback 4J, your Dragon 1N, all these guys got their cooldowns nerfed a lot. And then there's the change from half and half specific weapon quirks plus generics to like more like 75-25. So like say it doesn't keep to that ratio, but like say a mech, the Trebuchet 7M comes to mind, used to be like 20% plus 20% LRM 15 cooldown. Now it's like 25% plus 5%. So it got nerfed and it got it sort of tweaked out so it's more generic than specific now. And I like it a lot. Plus, you got the clans, where not a whole lot happened there. There's going to be a hot fix that kind of helps out a few mechs, but in general, there was just a bunch of mechs that lost quirks. A lot of other mechs got their quirks reduced, but I haven't really felt the effects of that. Like, even on the Stormcrow, I don't really feel the effects of the quirk changes. What I have felt is the nerf to pilot skills. Acceleration, deceleration, twist speed, turn rate all got hit really hard, which does help the big stompy robot feel, which I think is what they were going for, but it also makes it so that climbing hills and some of those stairs and just all that crap that was already annoying is just more frustrating. So I hope they rework the mechanic. In the end, I'm really kind of holding back and waiting for a true pilot skill tree, like with choices like you see in like the League of Legends mastery pages, or I don't know, the other thing that comes to mind is the Civ tech tree, just stuff where like you make choices and you progress along and you have to, you know, lose out on some stuff to gain on other stuff. And really, until we get that, I'm not going to be satisfied no matter what. But the other stuff that hurt the clans is serious. There was a huge laser nerf to the ER medium laser, and then also to a couple other lasers, but who cares because it's the ER medium laser. It got hurt really badly at its long range. And the Gauss rifle, which is way bigger deal for clans than IS. Like, sure, IS, a lot of builds use it, but clans, like, builds revolved around it. The best builds almost all revolved around it. And so that hurt them a lot. And then there's the Clan XL nerf, where like if you lose a side torso, it's 20% loss to like all of your maneuverability stuff. So that, another nail in the metaphorical coffin. And then we finally have the heatsink nerf, which really hurt their max heat, even if the heat dissipation was improved a little bit. Now it's a nail in the coffin, but honestly I think at the top level, clan mechs are still, I would say, on par with IS. I feel like it's pretty balanced right now, which is, you know, never thought I'd say that. And I think the real problem is now the lower end, where the worse IS mechs, where there's only a few, like the Commando, Locust, Dragon maybe, and even all those, they're a lot better than they used to be. Those are like probably on the lower end of IS stuff, along with some other chassis and variants. And then there's the clan stuff where there's just a whole lot at the bottom that hasn't really gotten helped at all. A lot of the stuff is getting bonuses to the CT and the quote hotfix, but it's not like, you know, it's not like huge bonuses. It's just a little bit of help to survive the pilot skill nerf. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm really hoping that we will eventually see some actual, you know, buffs to those guys, maybe to make it a little better, but in general, like, I don't use them anyways. A lot of people don't, so we'll see. But in general, I'm happy with the quirk changes. I'm happy with the balance changes to most of the equipment and stuff, and the other big thing is the Marauder. Well, the second to last big thing, which I am currently in the middle of writing about, and which I think is decent mech, and which I freaking hate for some reason. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah. Last thing I want to talk about is weapon balance. First things first, gotta give props to PGI. SRMs are good, spread is amazing, love playing with them, you can actually do work. It's great. It's fantastic. Even the AC2 changes, where they reduced the heat a little bit and they gave it crit chance. I hate the AC2 as a weapon, but I can deal with it. Like it needed it really, and yeah, I can deal with it. It's still not great, but yeah. And then there's the lerm spread changes, which, you know what, I could deal with that too. It mainly helped the 20, it helped the 15 a little bit, and it helped the 10 like a minuscule amount in terms of its lerm spread. I think the cooldown got increased a little bit, which is nice, but in general it wasn't a huge increase. But there's one thing that really bugs me about the, I guess technically it's the quirks. Alright, over a year and a half ago, PGI buffed Lerm's velocity from 150 to 175, and they were just too fast. They were going too fast, hitting really hard, and causing a lot of problems. It was too hard to avoid them, too hard to play around them, and it really made the game less fun in a lot of other ways too. So what they did is they toned that down to 160, and so now we see that pretty much every mech, every IS mech with a missile hardpoint at all has a 10% generic missile velocity quirk applying to SRMs and LRMs, which puts the speed up to 176. And it is annoying as hell. I'm not gonna just go over why I hate Lerms again. I'm not gonna go over why the original velocity buff was so bad. It just wasn't fun. And Lerms, there's a few people who are running them a lot since the recent changes because, well, a lot of mechs got buffed. Mechs like the 4J got its Lerm 10 cooldown toned down from 50 to 35%, but then it got the 10% velocity. I honestly think it might be better now than it was before. And then the Awesome 8R had its Lerm quirk increased from 25% cooldown to 30% cooldown, and then it got also buffed with the missile velocity. And then you also got the ECM nerf from 180 meter bubble to 90 meter, and just everything about Lerms just got a little bit stronger, and everything against them got a little bit worse, and I am not thrilled about it. And all you need to do to fix it is just change all those missile velocity quirks to SRM velocity. So that's about it for the patch. Overall, I liked it. I think the game has improved thanks to it. There are just a couple things that I really hope PGI changes, though, well, knowing their development cycle, it might take a while. That being said, there is a hotfix that will hit in about 10 hours from me recording this, which is pretty cool. Not the hotfix itself. The hotfix itself is mostly inconsequential. There's a few buffs, and a nerf to the BJ1X, but like, everything's small. Everything overall doesn't really matter, except for maybe it'll make the BJ3 better than the BJ1X. The only thing I like about this is that they are releasing a patch to deal with balance issues, like in the same week as a patch went out. Maybe that's a bit too fast of a reaction time. They're not really addressing anything that was like game breaking. Honestly, like, these problems are much smaller than the balance problems that have plagued this game for the last few years, but it's a nice change of pace. I'm really hoping that this sets a precedent and that in future patches we will get like iterative balance rather than a couple times a year they throw everything at the wall and see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.